Welcome to another episode of Technical Earth Syndicate, where we inspire, inform, and entertain you. I'm Michael Buffington.
I'm Chris Stewart.
And this is episode 17. Today we have a special episode for all you listeners. We have an indie game developer, Chris from Curious Panda Games, and also Ryan Schaefer are here with us today. How you guys doing?
Good. Also good.
Awesome. Now, I know Ryan has followed our podcast a little bit, so it's good to have you on here. And Chris, you're pretty much brand new to us, so.
Yep.
Commencing Operation Developer Topic Attack.
Well, let's go ahead and start out. Go ahead and, Chris, introduce yourself and tell us, what you're working on currently.
Right now I'm working on Rhythm Destruction. It's kind of a cross between like Dance Dance Revolution and a shoot 'em up, like a shmup, like Ikaruga or Gradius or something like that. Like enemies come at you, and as they approach you, they'll have like icons over them that correspond to like key presses, and it's all like rhythm based. So you have to hit these key presses to the beat of the music, and it tells you like when to hit them, and then it just goes through like different songs, our song selection that we have, and you just go through stages like that, just blowing stuff up to the beat of the music. It's pretty awesome.
It kind of plays like Elite Beat Agents on the DS.
Yeah. We both checked out the demo actually before we got this going. Asked you for the interview and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But it was fun, man. It's hard though.
yeah. The two stages we have in the demo are actually the first stage is the second stage, and then the second stage in the demo is kind of far along in the game, so it is a little bit more difficult, but we kind of wanted to show sort of like where the game takes you farther. We didn't want to just have the two most basic stages because we were afraid it might get too boring, but we were kind of worried that it would be kind of difficult because it definitely is pretty challenging.
Yeah, I still not beating that second stage. I think I got to the boss and just died immediately.
Oh man. I look forward to seeing people trying to beat the last stage then. It's pretty rough.
Now, you guys are on Kickstarter, and you guys got like 5 days left, from recording today. I think you have 5 days left on Kickstarter. Yeah. You guys already hit your marker for $2,000 on it, so, and that's awesome. I'm glad to see a decent amount of people were funding it. Now, also on that, you got on Steam Greenlight. I saw.
Yes, yeah, we have our Steam Greenlight page, and we're hoping to get more support. It's been doing pretty good, and we've had lots of feedback, lots of really positive comments. Like we were looking, and I don't think there's been like one like negative comment. I've seen lots of people on like the discussion threads like talking about like all their Steam Greenlight pages, and tons of trolls like telling them their games suck and stuff. But I don't know, we haven't really run into that, and it's everyone's been really liking the idea and stuff.
I think it's I also saw like you guys were commenting on the Greenlight page, talking with some of the fans of it, getting them pumped for it, and it kind of telling them, what it's about and what, how long you've been working on and everything like that. But it seems like it's blown up on Steam Greenlight. There you have a lot of support on there from what I saw.
yeah, it's been going really good, and we've actually listened to a lot of like feedback from the demo and from the videos where people had suggestions, and we've actually added several of them. Like one of them that was not in the game until really just like a week or two ago was like right before like an enemy ship is about to shoot at you, it would just shoot, and someone said that it seemed kind of cheap how it was like things would just like start firing and stuff, and you had no real like indication it was going to happen. So we ended up adding like a little icon that pops up that shows that it's about to fire, and things like that. We've been like listening to lots of feedback and adding it in.
That's good.
So where did you guys get the inspiration for this game? Were you just playing a round of Ikaruga and said, you know what this needs? This needs some DDR in it. So where did this whole thing come from?
I'm a huge rhythm game fan. I don't know if you've ever heard of In the Groove. It's like DDR, but sort of I guess the American version of DDR. I actually own an In the Groove arcade machine, and I'm a huge rhythm game fan. So I really wanted to make a rhythm game, and actually the start of Rhythm Destruction was me just trying to recreate DDR like sort of like Step Mania. Like I was just seeing if I could do it, and I had like basically replicated DDR, and I was like, well, this is cool, but I can't really do anything with this. So how can I turn this sort of into my own game? And that was originally done in C++, and I ported it over to C# so I could use XNA. And I don't know, I just was like, what two genres have not really been used together in rhythm and shoot 'em up? Although now there's lots of, I don't want to call them rhythm and shoot 'em ups, because there's games like Symphony and stuff that like there's top-down shooters and then they're sort of music oriented, but ours is actually like, the enemies and the attacks and stuff are all like directly correlated to the beat. Like all these other games, enemies sort of come at you and shoot to the beat of the music, but the actual like shooting and attacking and dodging and stuff, isn't really music oriented like it is in ours. And none of those really existed back when we even first started.
It's completely different than what I've ever played before in a game. Like I was actually surprised when Ryan actually told me about it. He's like, "Yo, check out my buddy's game," and I was like, "Wow, this looks awesome." I was like, I've never seen a game concept go this far with it. I mean, I've seen some things that implement the DDR stuff, but you guys just nailed it, with something completely different. And hopefully, I saw a lot of feedback from people on the Greenlight. They were like, "This is unique, really unique." So.
Or do you guys have any kind of plans to like add to like a different mode of the game to where it would be like sort of like a beat hazard where you'd be able to use your own music to kind of do anything with it?
Sort of. Like we have almost every stage. Oh, I guess if you played the demo, you saw it. Like we have these things, like we call them like hyper sections, where it sort of turns into like a almost like a computer display, like that you would see in like a cockpit or something, and like a radar almost display. Yeah, and all that is controlled to the beat of the, like even the moving and stuff is all to the beat of the music. And what we intend to do after we launch is go back and add a mode that is just a hyper section mode, and in that we're going to look into possibly doing like auto-generated stages, but if that's not really feasible, and we're going to probably add a level editor similar to like a Step Mania type thing, where you can set like the beats and just design stages like that.
Yeah, I definitely got a Step Mania vibe from those sections of the stages.
Yeah, actually, the way I create my stages is first I actually use Step Mania to set all of the notes on the beat, and then I take that Step Mania file and I sort of convert it into my own file and use that as the basis of like where the enemies are going to come at you.
That's pretty cool.
Now, do you have any future plans for like DLC? I saw some like in order to get funded on Kickstarter, you guys might actually throw DLC in there. But like, do you guys are currently working on anything with it or anything like that?
At the moment, we're not working on any DLC, but that's just because we're trying to finish up some last polish items before we finish launch the game on October 9th. But we are
October 9th, huh?
Yeah, it's coming up soon. But we've got lots of ideas, and it really just kind of depends on how much feedback and popularity and how much things really take off. But we've got several ideas. We're going to have at least a few stages of DLC with just new stages, probably like more harder difficulty stages. But we also have some different like modes like we want to do, like the hypersection mode like I was talking about. And then we really want to add a story mode, because currently there's no story mode. And those would be like all new stages, and it would run through a story. It'd probably be completely ridiculous, because I mean, how can you really have a serious plot with music and shooting and stuff? I'm sure it would be completely absurd, but that's what we really want to. And we want to have even like almost like a Star Fox vibe to it, like as you're playing, like the like goofy character, like pictures would like pop up with like some text and stuff, and be like,
do a barrel roll.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds cool. Now with the Steam Greenlight, you got to get the okay from Valve pretty much to know that the game's coming out on there. I tried to look to see if you guys' Bard got filled, and I think it did already. I'm not too sure though.
We're still kind of far down on there. Like they've got so many games on there, and I think you have to be in the top 100, and then it sounds like once you get in the they kind of hide this now from everybody. Only people who have the profile can see it. But it's like you can see how close you are to the top 100. Like I think currently we're around like 40% to the top 100, so we're not even really all that close. So we really are trying to get the word out there, and plus we're hoping like after we launch that we're gonna be able to make a big push and get to the top 100. And it like because they're showing that like here's how close you are to the top 100. We're assuming that they just are gonna just be taking from the top 100 like 10 random ones every once in a while, like they seem to have done with because the first batch they selected, like they had someone who had only filled their bar like 14% or something. So it doesn't sound like you
I saw that.
max it out to get on there.
I know the top game last month was Black Mesa, and it's still not on. It's supposed to be on like next month or something like that. So
yeah,
but hopefully takes off. You know, more people. I'm definitely gonna be spreading the word as much as I can about this game, even after release.
Awesome.
Now I see on the little list of items, you guys are adding achievements to it as well.
Yes, yeah, we have right now like 80 something achievements. I'd have to go back and actually look, but we've got lots of ridiculous ones. Like there's a lot of them that are just like, you know, get X score on some stage, but we've got like some really random ones that I think are kind of fun. Like one that I can think of that's pretty interesting is we have beat the developers. Like you'd have to like challenge us to an online match and win, and we've got just like weird ones like that. It should be fun though. There's a lot of them that we've actually hidden that don't even show up in the achievement list because they're essentially impossible to get, but we're like, well, what if someone actually does this? We should like give them an achievement for it. Like if you get 100% score on every single stage of the game, there's an achievement for it, but it doesn't show up in the list, so you don't feel like achievement hunters wouldn't be like, how can I like possibly get that? That's impossible. That'll never be achieved. So it's hidden from the list, but if you were to get it, it would show up.
Nice. I love games that do that, actually.
Yeah, you actually see that kind of thing in a few games, but it'll show that there's a hidden achievement. It just doesn't tell you how to do it. Yeah. But I like how you're doing it, how it doesn't even show up in the list and it just pops up if you happen to get it. I wish more games would go about it that way.
Now, I actually played it on the Xbox 360 controller and also keyboard, and I felt the Xbox 360 controller was a little more easier than the keyboard, but the keyboard was doable. How long did it kind of like, you know, you got to make it when you put it on PC, kind of make it appealing for keyboard users, also, you know, Xbox controller users as well. So where did you guys implement, like decide whether you would just wanted to make it split down the middle or just on one?
Well, originally we were going to go straight for just a Xbox Live Indie Arcade game. So we sort of designed the game at first with the controller, but then like we've been developing the game for a really long time, just in our spare time. Like for a good year, it was like just like a couple hours, like a week or even less. Like really only in the past year we really started working on a lot more. But yeah, back to the question, I guess. But the controller support. So we added that initially, and then when we ported it over to be a PC game, to focus on PC first, we did just the keyboard, and we hadn't even really like gone back and put in support to make sure the gamepad worked really until about like 2 months ago, and we're like, oh shit, we need to like actually put this in and make sure this works. But yeah, that went pretty good. I actually enjoy using the keyboard more. Maybe it's just because I'm more used to it because I've been using the keyboard more.
Right.
But I find I enjoy the keyboard a little bit better. But we took the Rhythm Destruction to a local rhythm and fighting game tournament, and we had lots of people play it. And a lot of people preferred the gamepad. So I guess it's a good thing that we went back and made sure that it works on the gamepad.
It's kind of weird. I'm able to control the shit better and avoid dying with the gamepad, but I seem to be able to get the timing of the button presses better with the keyboard. So it's kind of a mixed bag with me.
Yeah, one thing that was interesting with the gamepad is originally we had different. Sometimes you would have to hit 2 notes at the same time, and we had to have to hit left and right at the same time to blow them up. But when we went back and started playing on the gamepad, we're like, wait a minute, that's not really possible. You can't really hit X and B at the same time without like completely like breaking your thumb to control it. So we just made it where if you have to hit 2 at the same time, you're going to have to hit just X and A or Y and B because those are easier to hit at the same time.
Right.
And that's going to be coming out October, you said 9th, right?
Yes, October 9th.
That's the official release date. I don't remember seeing that yet. So
Yeah, I think it was in the demo. I think when you try to escape.
Okay,
it says coming October 9th.
Yeah. And it's going to be $4.99, isn't it?
Yes, $4.99.
$4.99.
That is the plan.
Cool.
That's a good price for a game, especially for how much content. I mean, it has 10 levels, a good soundtrack. I mean, I was amazed hearing some of the soundtrack. This is awesome.
Yeah, most of the soundtrack comes from Kyle Ward and SCI recording. They did most of the music actually in the groove, and that was like some of my favorite stuff about that game. So I just contacted him, and he was like super cool about it, and was like, "Oh yeah, sure, you can have my music." It's like,
"Oh, that's pretty cool.
Whatever, give us whatever you want for it. Here you go."
Do you guys have any kind of plans for any future games after Rhythm Destruction, or like what's coming down the pipeline?
We've got several. It really kind of depends. We're kind of thinking we want to do a smaller game first, but like we might just do. We're thinking about doing a mobile game. Although it really also depends on Rhythm Destruction, because we were considering porting Rhythm Destruction to the iPhone and Android. And
that'd be awesome.
That would probably be mainly just the hyper section, like on the iPhone, because we were thinking it's probably too difficult to move and shoot to the beat of the music on a touchscreen with no buttons. So we might do just the hyper section for that. But
yeah, definitely give some love to Android support if you do. I like Apple, but I have so many friends that just want games on Android.
Oh right, yeah. I mean, I've got a Galaxy S2 that.
Yeah.
I got rid of my iPhone, so I'll be focusing on Android. It's my
awesome. That sounds great for all our Android people.
Yeah.
So, do you have any advice for anyone trying to get their foot into the door with the gaming industry?
I don't know. Let's see. XNA is awesome. It's very easy to set up and get go. Like we had stuff like working like in game just like in like a day, really, like just prototype stuff, because XNA was just like so easy to set up and go. So finding a good thing like XNA is really good. Unity is pretty awesome as well.
Unity is really cool. I know a lot of people are trying to get in with that.
Yeah, I think our next game we're pretty sure we're gonna use Unity.
The dev kit is actually not that expensive compared to some of the other ones.
Yeah, I think we're going to use Unity just because the only reason we're probably not going to use XNA with our next stuff is just because XNA is, you're pretty much grounded to just Windows platforms and Xbox and stuff. So
yeah, Unity goes for it's actually just got announced on the Wii U.
Yeah.
They're going to be supporting that. iOS games, Android games. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, that Onyo. Ouya. There we go. That's going to be on there too.
Unity runs on everything.
Yes, it's a good engine. It really is.
Yeah, there's definitely some quality games out there with Unity. I think Slender actually uses Unity. If you see my gameplay video that I posted a couple weeks ago.
Slender is awesome. I've screamed like a little baby while playing that game.
I think we all have. It's frightening just watching a video being played by Chris Stewart over here. Well, awesome. Well, October 9th for $4.99, can't go wrong with this game. Definitely check it out, guys, and anybody listening to this podcast.
RhythmDestruction.com. You can see more info there.
Well, Ryan, you've been unusually quiet.
I was letting you guys run the show here. Didn't want to interrupt.
You were special too. Yeah. No one turn off the podcast right now. This guy is awesome. I've known him for several years now. He's been in the industry for a long time, working on his butt off just to get his career going. So, you've mostly been focusing on Flash games as of recently, haven't you, or for the past couple of years, for the most part? Right?
Yeah, for the past couple of years. I think after school, when I graduated, I went into game development at a major studio, and it was not what I thought it would be, so I kind of got out of that and just started doing smaller casual games, and I have a lot more fun with that.
Awesome. Like we just Chris and me just recently played. I've played it a little bit ago, but was it your first Flash game, Night of the Living Dead? It got kind of big on Newgrounds, didn't it?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't my first one, but it was probably my first good one.
Right. I enjoyed it. It's kind of a mixture of like Castlevania and I don't really know what else it could be a mix of, but it's hard, it's fun.
It's kind of like the first two Castlevania games and like Mega Man, I suppose.
Well, that's those are exactly the two games I had in mind when I made it, because those were I always loved, especially the first Castlevania, and then like Mega Man 3 was one of my favorite games. So I wanted to do something, kind of with that old school style.
Now tell us the development on it. How long did it take for developing that Flash game?
Probably took about 2.5 months. Yeah, I think we started as a conversation at lunch before Valentine's Day. People were talking about doing we were going to have a competition at work where everybody was going to make their own Valentine's Day, themed game, and that was mine.
Night of the Living Dead. Awesome. Now you made another Flash game recently for what was the contest?
It was the Mochi Media they just had a series of summer contests, like pretty much every month they had a different contest, and this one was going back to school, and so I made a game called Snow Day, which is just a collection of mini games. I didn't have a whole lot of time on it because I didn't find out about the contest until like a week before it was over. So right. I basically put it together in about 5 days. I was pretty happy with the way it came out.
And it was actually pretty well put together for only being a week's worth of development, and that's pretty surprising.
Well, I wish you guys were judges. It didn't win, but yeah, I was pretty happy with it. Whatever I'm going to do next, we're always looking at when you do small games like this, you're always trying to think ahead of what your next project's going to be.
Right.
And I guess a lot of times it's just writing things down in notebooks for me anyway, and then just pick an idea and go with it. So I've got a couple other things lined up that I may get into, and I'm kind of trying to decide right now between doing another Flash web game or doing something on Android or iOS also.
That might be a bad idea. Alan, before he passed away, we were actually talking about doing an iPhone game or something, doing an iPhone game on development, and he was a programmer as well, so he was kind of looking into it, and we were getting things set up, like a story written, but we never got done with it. I may actually dip into that one day or something. I don't know.
Well, I feel like part of the problem there, a lot of people complain about how touchscreen control is so limited. But I think a big problem is that most people, or maybe not most, but a lot of developers just try to take a console game and port it, to the touch device.
Right.
And that doesn't really work. I feel like it works a lot better if you design your game with touch in mind from the beginning.
100% agree.
You're not a fan of the on-screen joystick?
Oh God, I hate that.
Don't get me started on the on-screen.
Sometimes it can be doable, but most of the time, no. I like some of the adventure games actually on the iOS or Android. Like they kind of feel like they have the Monkey Island games on there and everything, and they kind of actually feel real because you get to touch. And on PC, they were point and click games, so I think those are the best type of games in my opinion for myself playing them. So
yeah, I think that translates pretty well.
Yeah, Alan and I were actually looking at doing like a touchscreen adventure RPG kind of thing, and we never went through with it. I think last summer we were talking about it, and we were just like, okay. You've been actually working on like Connect stuff, haven't you? Like just fooling around with it, programming for it.
Yeah, I like just messing around with kind of new technology whenever it comes out. I guess Connect's not too new anymore. But, I mean, the SDK hasn't been available just too long, a year or so, a year and a half maybe.
Still relevantly not touched by the public very often with the Connect. And, I mean, you see little projects here and there, but not too many.
Yeah, it seems to be more popular almost with people just doing experimental projects than even commercial games.
Yeah. I think that's everything with even the Move for PlayStation. I saw somebody doing weird motion control, like they hooked two of the remotes to their knees and their elbows, and they were like tracking their movements, crawling on the ground or something. It was for some kind of weird experiment. I don't know exactly what they were doing. I saw the video on YouTube and I was like, okay. I've seen some pretty cool stuff with YouTube. You actually recorded some of your YouTube Connect stuff. I think earlier this year I saw it was pretty cool.
Yeah, a couple times, I guess.
Now, Ryan, currently where are you working exactly?
Currently, I'm working at Monster Media in Orlando, Florida.
Now, I knew you when you were going to Full Sail, so it was kind of like you went for a programming degree there, and you've been kind of in and out of some of the industry.
Yeah, I mean, I switched, like I said earlier, mainly over to Flash, and that's still what we do a lot of at Monster Media. Most of our projects are in Flash. It's kind of different though, because we don't do traditional like web applications or anything. We do kind of big advertisements like displays in airports, like the big 3x3 walls, and it's touch screen and lasers. It's pretty fun.
Oh, cool. Awesome. Well, hopefully we can see more Flash games from you, and you know.
I'm working on it.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks, guys, for stopping by TES. So,
thanks for having
me.
Yep, thanks.
Chris and Ryan, it's been awesome. Thank you for discussing Rhythm Destruction. I'm sure all your fans and our fans would love to hear more about it from you. Maybe they can visit your Greenlight page, and if they got. When this is released, you're gonna have 4 days on your Kickstarter, so please support them. So
indeed.
All right, you can follow me on Twitter, and mine's mbufftes.
I'm at cstewtes.
You also get us on Steam, Facebook, and YouTube. So awesome.
And do you guys have Twitter accounts where people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, mine is at Rugard, RUUGARD.
Mine is at Runo. It's RHUNO.
Well, look them up, and we'll see you guys next time. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Emerald Coast Productions, for making this podcast happen. Also, if you have any comments, questions, or you'd like to be on our show, please email me at techearthsyndicate@gmail.com. And again, that is techearthsyndicate@gmail.com. Until next time, this is Technical Earth Syndicate signing off.